$100,000. Every finance guru on YouTube says that's the magic number where your wealth explodes higher. But what if I told you they're all repeating an old claim from 1996? That number is now completely out of date. I've watched the 100K figure explode across YouTube over the last couple of years. Everyone's regurgitating it. But here's the problem. It's completely wrong and outdated. In this video, I'll reveal the real number where net worth explodes. I'll also share why everyone gets it so wrong and a method to calculate this number in the future. By the way, I'm Steve Reitmeister. I spent over a decade as editor-in-chief at Zacks.com, one of the most respected investment research firms, and I'm currently a partner at WallStreetZen.com, where our quant team analyzes thousands of data points to help investors understand the market. If you like investing topics like this, please take a second to hit that like button so I know to record more videos along these lines in the future. Back to the topic at hand. Let's talk about the source of the viral 100K number. The original claim dates back to 1996. Charlie Munger, better known as Warren Buffett's business partner, said this in 1996 at a Berkshire Hathaway meeting.
The hard part of the process for most people is the first $100,000.
Here's the problem. $100,000 in 1996 equals about $200,000 a day thanks to inflation. That's double the number Munger threw out. Or to put it another way, those financial influencers still repeating this 100K figure are using a number that hasn't been updated since the days of dial-up internet. Okay, but to be honest, even adjusting for inflation still misses the main point. That's because Charlie Munger wasn't obsessed with a specific number. He was talking about investment principle. And what is that principle? Reaching a point where your annual returns generate more money than your annual savings. At that point, your money works harder than you do. Okay, let's think of a snowball rolling downhill. For the first 100,000 or 200,000 today's money, you're pushing the snowball yourself. You're doing all the work. But once it gets big enough, something changes. It starts rolling on its own and picking up more and more snow with each rotation. You're no longer pushing because gravity takes over. That's the tipping point Munger was talking about when he was saying the first $100,000 is the hardest. Okay, there is a way to measure this amount precisely. It's called the return contribution ratio. When this ratio hits 1.0, that's your real tipping point, when compound interest shifts from theory into reality. Let me show you exactly how this works with a vivid example. Let's look at someone we'll call Bobby. He's 28 years old and committed to saving and investing $14,000 per year. That's about $11.67 per month. And his expectation for annual return is 7% a year. By year 10, he crosses 200,000. That's 10 years of discipline and consistency to hit the goal. Here's what happens next. At 200,000 and 7% annual returns, then his portfolio generates 14,000 in gains that year. That matches the 14,000 he is contributing himself. His returns evenly matches what he's putting in actively with savings alone. This is the tipping point where his money finally works as hard as he does. And here's the wild part. Each subsequent 100K comes in even faster. The first 200,000 takes 10 years. The next 100,000 to get you up to 300K only takes 4 more years. Next 100K to 400,000 takes 3 years. By the time you go from 900,000 to 1 million, it takes just about 1 more year. That's the magical compound interest at work. Okay, so in this example, the $200,000 number worked, but the exact number will be different for everyone. Before I show you why this is different for everyone, please hit subscribe and click on the notification bell now. That's the best way to get more of my timely market insights, investment strategies going forward. All right, let me show you this visually because it puts everything into perspective. This flat line is Bobby's contribution, steady at $14,000 per year. The curved line is the growing investment returns over time. Watch how they start far apart, slowly converge, and cross right at 200,000. That's the inflation-adjusted tipping point number Munger was actually talking about. But here's the fascinating part. This number changes for each person based upon how much they can save. Okay, scenario number 1, save $7,000 per year, and that's the contribution line. It crosses over at 100,000. Scenario number 2, we're going to double that to $14,000 a year contribution. That crosses over at 200,000. Whereas scenario number 3, we're going to double the savings again to $28,000 a year contribution. That crosses over at 400,000. Each shows flat contribution line and curve return line intersecting at different portfolio values. If Bobby saves $28,000 per year instead, the crossover jumps jumps all the way up to 400,000. If he can only save 7,000, on the other hand, it drops back down to 100,000. There is no single universal magic number. And notice this, whether you're getting 3% returns or even 9% annual returns, it takes roughly the same amount of time, about 10 years, to hit your tipping point number. Okay, in this chart, you can see years to reach 200,000 with different return rates. Okay, so we're putting away $14,000 per year. So at a 3% return, it takes 10.8 years to hit our tipping point. A 5% return makes it a little bit shorter at 10.4 years. 7% return takes 10 years, and 9% return takes 9.6 years. All bars are relatively similar height, cluster around 10 years to show they're nearly identical. Why? Because early on, your contributions dwarf your returns. Consider that 7% of $14,000, early on in year one is only $980 a return. So in the early years, your paycheck is doing the heavy lifting, not your portfolio. This brings us to the acceleration phase. Once you cross the tipping point, everything changes. 7% of $200,000, well, that's $14,000 per year. Now your money is starting to pull its own weight. 7% of $400,000, that's $28,000. Generally, while you sleep, you're adding $14,000 and your money is generating $28,000. It's doing twice as much work as you are. And at $1 million, you're earning $70,000 in annual returns while contributing only $14,000. Your money is working 5 times harder than you are. This is what Munger meant, not some arbitrary 6-figure milestone, but the mathematical reality of when compound interest becomes a force multiplier for your wealth. Now here's the investment strategy tie-in. Hitting the tipping point faster relies upon 2 things. How much can you save annually, and how well do your investments perform? You control your savings rate, but your return rate, well, that depends on the quality of your investment strategy. If you like the quantitative approach to breaking down compound interest, you might appreciate how we analyze stocks at WallStreetZen. Our quant system evaluates 115 unique factors for every stock, a true 360-degree review of a stock's attractiveness across growth, value, momentum, sentiment factors, and more. Then we apply an easy-to-follow A to F grade, pointing out the stocks likely to outperform. We call this AI-driven quant model the Zen ratings. Gladly, our A-rated stocks have generated average annual returns of 32.5% per year, dating back to 2003. You can see the Zen ratings for all your favorite stocks for free. Just click the link in the description below to set up your watch list on WallStreetZen.com. Okay, let's drive home the key point of this video. Truthfully, the goal is not about hitting a specific milestone, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000, etc. It's about understanding when you transition from trading time for money to having your money create time for you. Haha, that deserves repeating to drive home the point. It's about understanding when you transition from trading time for money to having your money create time for you. Important stuff. There's a moment where you stop pushing the boulder uphill and the boulder starts rolling on its own for you. You're still steering it, still making smart decisions, but gravity is doing most of the work for you. That first 200K or whatever your inflation adjusted number is, you're building it dollar by dollar. But the second 100,000, your portfolio is helping you build it. The third, even faster, and so on. By the time you're crossing 7 figures, compound interest is doing the heavy lifting. That's just the simple math. I've been investing for over 40 years, since before Munger gave that quote in 1996. Here's what I've learned in that time. The investors who win are the ones who figure out their own numbers and stick with it long enough to see compound interest kick in. So here's what I want you to do. Figure out your tipping point. Your actual number is explained here based upon what you're saving and what you're earning. Remember, take your annual savings amount and divide it by your expected rate of return. That's the portfolio value where your money starts working as hard as you do. Okay, then drop a comment below with your tipping point number and when you think you'll hit it. Let's hold each other us accountable and support each other towards our goals. Before I wrap up, I want to share something else with you that could be beneficial in hitting that tipping point even sooner. I've created a list of stocks our system shows could potentially double in the next 12 to 24 months. The link is in the description and the pinned comment below, or just scan this QR code. Remember, it's not that it's about getting to 100K isn't impressive. It absolutely is. But the real magic happens when your returns match your contributions, and that number is different for every person. The strategies to actually accelerate this timeline, choosing the right stocks, tax optimization, portfolio allocation, that's what we cover every week on this channel. If you're fired up to find some high-quality stocks now, don't miss the next video featuring stocks with near-term catalysts I believe could surge in the very near future.